became aware of the coronavirus actually quite early. Certainly in January, it became obvious that it was going to be what it actually has turned out to be, a major crisis. I got family members who got sick. My sister got sick and recovered. We have felt the effect of it like almost every American, like almost everyone on Earth. It's kind of a strange thing when you're part of this major event in life. My name is Jerome Baudry. I am the Pei-Ling Chan Chair in Biology at the University of Alabama in Huntsville, which means I'm a professor here at the university and I conduct research in biology. I'm originally from France, as you can maybe guess from my accent. I'm from Europe. I was always interested in biology. It was something that came of age when I was in high school in the late 1980s. So it was science, which I liked. At the same time, it was complex. It touched to fundamental problems, and I liked this mix. I think of myself as a biologist. I'm a biologist who is interested in the mechanics of life somehow. How are molecules coming together? All the tinkering of life, all the atoms, how are they doing these kind of things? So this virus works like a lot of other viruses. It gets into our human cells, it infects them, and it does so because it shows a special protein on its surface that fools our human cells into believing it's okay to let it in, basically. So that's one thing we're trying to prevent. In addition, when the virus is in the cell, it hijacks the cell into making a lot of proteins, a lot of molecules that are needed for the virus to duplicate itself. And it's like taking over all the machines in the cell and forcing the cell to make those virus proteins instead of what the cell needs to do as a normal, well-behaved, functioning cells. But in terms of chemistry, of basic biology, in terms of physics, we know almost every atom of that virus, and that's how we'll get it. One very unusual aspect of this crisis and the research that is going to solve it is the extremely high level of collaboration between everyone on how can we come with better and faster way to discover drugs. It's like we've all been drafted in a way to fight. HPE is providing us with this fantastic machine called Sentinel, which is a Cray supercomputer. And it came to be because there was this meeting at Oxford, Mississippi, in the National Center for Natural Product Research, where we were all attending a meeting on how can we use supercomputing to accelerate drug discovery using natural products. And it was very early this year, before the COVID-19 crisis hit. And it was a bizarre synchronicity of things, because a few weeks later, this crisis hit, and we already had thought about the right technical things to do, so we just had to implement them. So we're working with Sentinel, and as importantly, it's allowing us to work with some of the top technicians and scientists that they are working with over there. So we are talking almost daily with people there. It's not only us logging in from our desktop to a giant computer somewhere. It's also us working hand in hand with the people at HPE. That's very important. Well, the supercomputers are really essential to our work. And I do research in life sciences, in drug discovery, actually. Imagine having a computer like Sentinel is like fitting 500,000 to 600,000 scientists in my few square feet of lab, all doing extremely quickly what it is that we're trying to do. So what we do usually is we build models of the proteins of the virus, what I'm showing here in blue, and we build models of potential drugs that we think could potentially be interesting to look at down the road. We are thinking about other possibilities what we can bring to the mix in order to accelerate that further. Something that would depend a bit less on physics and chemistry and maybe a bit more on artificial intelligence. We can now run about 1.2 million calculations a day. So we have created knowledge. As a matter of fact, we are creating it so fast that we're having a bit of a hard time keeping up with the data. We're happy because that's the first thing we see that looks like a potential solution. Now, again, it may not be the right solution, but when we find the solution, it will look like something like that. Our research is going well. We are done with the very first big part of our calculations, which was to use a supercomputer to screen tens of thousands of chemicals that are found in nature. So out of 50,000 chemicals that we have processed on Sentinel, we find a few hundreds that are predicted to bind relatively well. And we focused on the top 125 of those. 125 chemicals, natural products. It's not that these plants are going by themselves to be useful against the virus, but they contain chemicals that possess some of the interesting features that we will have to combine together. So we have found the origin of what will end up being, hopefully very soon, new drugs against the virus. I'm very grateful to all the colleagues at HP, the ones I know and the ones behind the scene who help the ones I know helping us. Our mission, the number one mission, is to solve this health crisis and come as soon as we can with a drug or a treatment, and we will. In addition, it's very satisfying for me to contribute to bridging the ancestral knowledge of humanity on plants and nature and what it does, how it can kill you and how it can save you, and marrying that with the most cutting-edge scientific and technical progresses of our species. It's important that we are telling the future scientists, but also artists, social worker, everyone, that supercomputers are going to change the way we work for the better, and not to be afraid of it, and to embrace it and to use it as an agent for good.